Severance Season 2 – Everything We Know. Season 1 was an extremely gripping hell of a ride, with a finale that set up the biggest cliffhanger in television for a while. So I thought I'd take a look at all that's out there and give my theories and predictions on Season 2 of the show. So let's jump in. Here is Severance Season 2 – Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The story. With Season 1 of the show finishing with so much left open, I think it's safe to say that Season 2 will likely pick up directly after the end of the finale. With the innies now back in their world after Dylan was tackled, causing the overtime protocol to be turned off, each outie version of themselves was left in a situation where they'll likely have to deal with the repercussion, as do the innies. We have Irving, who was awoken at Bert's door, and I think could potentially jolt a memory from his innie self. We've seen the lines get crossed, such as paint bleeding into the innie's world, and also the outie version investigating Lumon, so there's already a suspicion there and a hint that memories can potentially cross over, something I think will be explored in Season 2. We've got Mark in a situation where he screamed out "she's alive" in the closing moments before transporting back. In this situation, people could think he is a little bit crazy. But with his sister knowing that he was an innie version of himself not that long ago, she may piece together what he was talking about and cause Mark to be investigative just like Irving. And we've got Helly, who was on stage and was essentially slandering the company and saying it's all one big lie. Her situation seems the most difficult to get out of. We know that she's against her innie resigning, and we now also know that she's related to the founder of the company. It definitely puts her in an interesting position for both her innie and outie as we enter Season 2. I left wondering why she would put herself through 8 hours a day where she doesn't remember anything, especially when she's got a luxurious life. But I think it's down to one of two things. Either she wants to understand the company more and immerse herself within the world, so she essentially practices what she preaches, or she's so unhappy in reality that she wants to be able to forget and lose part of her existence. Something that we saw was the root cause for Mark going in there. Then in terms of the innies, I think they're going to be facing severe repercussions and will struggle to have hallway access anytime soon. So I'm intrigued to see if they'll ever touch base with their outies again, and also how they'll respond to now knowing what life is like on the outside. Harmony, I think, could potentially get her job back for being on the side of the company and trying to stop it all, despite being fired. But I do think Lumon will likely start to get investigated as Season 2 goes on. Mark's sister was skeptical about Severance State and Lumon prior to Mark's innie taking over, and with him asking her to essentially get help, I imagine it will add fuel to the fire even more. Then we've got Miss Casey. The revelation of her being Mark's dead wife on the outside is something that's definitely going to be explored more. She seems to be treated differently as an innie compared to the others, in the sense that she gets switched on and off, which could be a different type of severed state. We've seen it with the wife of Angelo Arteta. She couldn't remember meeting Mark's sister, so it's going to be an interesting one for sure. There's a lot to develop on from, and it's going to make some more great television as we embark on Season 2. The release date. Well, the good news is that we know for certain that a Season 2 is definitely happening. A couple of days before the finale was aired, Apple announced that the show would definitely be returning, and I'm not surprised. There's been a lot of conversation about the show, and it's proved to be a huge success. With regards to the release date specifically, that's something that's currently unknown. When we look at usual release time periods, it tends to be around a year from season to season. So with that being taken into consideration, I think it would be safe to assume that we'll likely get a release in March of 2023. I think that's enough time to allow for anticipation and for the show to be written, produced, and have time for post-production. So we've got a while to wait, but I'm sure it will definitely be worth it. The characters. With none of the main characters being killed off other than Mr. Grainer, I think it's safe to say that everybody else will be returning to the show. So that means Mark, Helly, Irving, Dylan, Harmony, Milchick, Devon, Rickon, Bert, Natalie representing the board, and of course Miss Casey, maybe even returning as Gemma if she does wake up. I think this, along with the likelihood of many other new characters that will be introduced in the show. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Season 2. I'm sure more information will get released as time goes on. What did you think of Season 1? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.